Before we start, I'm just checking my settings for something. Hello, Arissa. You redeemed it first again this time. Nice. Hope your day was well. Community. This one? Your rewards? Yeah, I think so. Okay, this one. There we go. And then... You are the GOAT, true. Nobody can compete with you. You're on a pedestal of your own making. Is it lonely up there, Arissa? Watching the world around you as they all struggle to reach up to you? What is it like? Alright. Let's continue this. Ursa got it now. Yes, the peasants' fair use is exactly. How do you feel, Hamburger? How do you feel, Surplus, that you are all below Rissa? Hope you guys are also doing well today. As long as Diane doesn't get it, I'm fine. Why is it like... Why are we... Is it Dianea versus everyone else in this redeeming first thing? Does Dianea, like, the oligarchy here, is she the one that needs to be put down? Like, down with the rich, basically?
だよ。寝たの3時くらいだからね。眠い。
Everyone's below me because I'm two people in one. The first is the worst, second is the best. I see you, Hamburger. Diana gets first too much. I see. Okay. I allow others to get first. So you're saying that you're actually just letting them. Like, this is all just a fun game for you. It's like, whenever you want to, you can always reclaim it back.
3時? おいおい。夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。
Simply so, okay.
大方、漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって、一巻から読破してしまったんだろう。俺にも経験があるぞ。
Okay, well, Keiichi's done that before as well.
あれひょっとして村長さんのこと？まだ見つかってないの？
Sanji? Yeah, well, that's why, Surplus, they're like... Actually, wait, no, you haven't met them yet. That would be kind of a spoiler, so let me not say anything. I just realized what I was going to say was going to be a spoiler, so let me not say anything. I went to the Furude Shrine to join the youth group in their search for the mayor. Since I knew there was no way he would be found, it was really boring for me. A 10-day streak is alive! Nice! Let's go, Hamburger! Nutshell getting your 10 streak. You get so happy over trivial matters? It's quite silly. Oh, now there's an elitist thing to it. Drink water, okay. Well, just enduring sleepiness wasn't bad. Not if you consider what Kimiyoshi had to go through since last night. He had been hanging from the ceiling and couldn't even fall asleep or sit down, since he had to stay on tiptoes the whole time. It's only proper for one such as myself. And what is one such as yourself? Who it really is on your level? Then you really gone Forsaken? Nice. How was, like, what have you been doing in Forsaken? As, like, killer or survivor? And only witch, of course. I see, okay. So is there anyone that could be up to your level, or is it just not possible? You're the only one in existence. You're just superior. Gulp, yes, that's the water ASMR that we all listen to. The teacher explained to us that the mayor had gone missing and asked us if we knew anything. A couple of people said things, but they were irrelevant. May you be so kind as to view the Rika Furude dance party video. Just for you, Diana. Where are we at here? Hope your day was well, Ruben. Discord there, okay. And where are you at? Right here. Here we go again. You should add a third video if you're redeemed while not third to the chat. You get permanently banned. The thing is, it's hard to say who's third. There was good thing. Nice. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. You know, after you told me to watch it last night, I got to the point where I was tired, and I just started like. I was just scrolling through random chats, like doing whatever, and then I saw the video, and then I kind of just played it on repeat, like multiple times, like just blankly staring at it, just playing it over again, like over and over again. And I don't know what I was doing, but I kind of just did that. As a killer, I'm almost. Can you check Discord? Okay, what do you want me to check on Discord here? It's quite be. It is. Is this you, Hamburger? You eating something? Or is that somebody eating you? Just describe the GIF. I don't know. Like, it's a... the guy... It's... I don't even know what this is trying to be. It's a bullet or a missile, and then it turns into a burger, and the guy eats it. The bouncing quintuples of Rika. It is. It is. Like, what do you even want me to say? Just describe it. I mean, I described it there, but what is it supposed to mean? I don't really know. Inside joke, I see. Okay. To me, this issue meant nothing. It was all my classmates were talking about. I observed Keiichi Maebara. I had no idea if any type of danger was drawing closer to him. Maybe I'd call him again tonight, pretending to be Shion. I told him some outrageous stuff last night, so he panicked. But I was sure he calmed down after a day. At the time, I heard a little girl's laughter. It was Rika Furude, the last survivor of the Furude family and their current head. However, she wasn't treated as one. During the family council, she'd often draw pictures or take a nap in the hag's bed. That's one way to put it. The hamburger who spake or spoke. She wasn't even invited to last night's meeting. It was hard to believe such a little girl was responsible for part of the curse system. However, even though she wasn't in a respected position as the head of the Furude family, there are plenty of old people who worshipped her as reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Yes, spake. Do you not understand? No, I don't understand. I'd heard from somebody that Rika Furude was rather odd and seemed to behave as if she knew that she was that reincarnation. Maybe Takano-sana told me at the library when she was alive. When Rika Furude became worried about something, the elderly people who worshipped her would make arrangements. It was very similar to the Sonozaki family, and was also the same system as used for the curse. I wonder, does Rika Furude know anything about the deaths of Takano-san and Tomitake-san? What does she think of people sneaking into the ritual storehouse? Does she know who snuck in and what happened to those people? As the one managing the storehouse, it was possible that she noticed the intruders first. In fact, she was the only one who could have noticed it. She must have passed on that information, which was why the curse was executed. A simpleton, really? I guess I am. Like, you know, I have nothing more than a simpleton. Where'd everyone go? Everyone just came in for their watch streak. And then, off to do their own thing. It's now just you and Ruben, Diana. The foolish Keiichi just turned on when we went into the ritual storehouse. That light switch could have been connected to some kind of an alarm. Rika Furude, the leader of the Furude family. Maybe getting to know her would be a good idea. I'm going to kill Delphituno. I see 5 people. I mean, people probably have their, like, things on in the background. Why are we killing me? As the leader of the Furude family. Okay. Oh, so Shion talked with Rika before Keiichi did? Not if why are we all... Okay. It's hard to tell if she understood I was asking in place of the Sonozaki family head, instead of as me on Sonozaki. Rika answered. The news hadn't been made public. She knew about it. So... Okay, so what happens if other people kill me beforehand, before you, like, whoever wants to kill me gets to me? The news hadn't been made public. Yes, she knew about it. Although she looked immature, perhaps she was truly the head of the Furude family. Hamburger, you're probably the biggest simp that I know, okay? I don't think you have a right to say anything. But it's not over yet, is it?
その二人はどうなるか、聞いてる？
I tried to be vague to see how Rika Furude would react. I'd been thinking that she had nothing to do. Yeah, but I don't have a girlfriend. Okay, you can still simp. Like, I don't know why having a girlfriend matters. Who is Rissa? She shows up in chat. She's Rissa Re XO. She's Daine's sister. Also, I simp because that's not. That doesn't help your point. That doesn't help your case, Hamburger. I'd been thinking that she had nothing to do with the underside of Hinamizoa, since she was always treated like a child. Rika just said things about the incident which normal people shouldn't know about anything. That proves she belonged to the underside's network.
別に、どうでもいいと思いますですよ。
She answered the question about Tomitake-san and Takano-san fairly quickly, but took a little longer to answer this time. Tuno's just jealous he's single. Not really. The way I see it is like, if I'm just meant to be alone my entire life, then maybe that's just meant to be. So it's like, I'm not, like, you know, I purposely don't go put myself out there. I feel if I wanted to, I could, you know, have a relationship with someone, but I purposely avoid it. I guess, is what I do. I was meant to be gay, I guess. Did she have to think about it? Shit, the look on her face never changes. It's impossible to figure out what she's thinking.
どうでもいいってことはないでしょ。それじゃあけじめにならないのは分かってる？
Yeah, exactly.
僕は、ちゃんと反省したなら、それでいいと思いますです。
Her response was unexpected, especially after seeing all the old people get so furious last night. The trespass in the ritual storehouse was blasphemy against Oyashiro-sama. The village elders had said those intruders deserved to die. Yet the leader of the Furude family who protected the sacred storehouse for ritual implements said that if they felt remorse for it, then that was fine. I recalled how people thought of Rika Furude's father during the dam conflict. Yes, her father was called an opportunist back then. He didn't agree with the Onigafuchi guardians who had resisted violently during the conflict. No, it should be forced, but only on me. Someone send a crazy murder girlfriend after him. But what if, like, I like that. Like father, like daughter. I aggressively grabbed Rika Furude by the collar.
Huh?
Send Tuno a yandere this instant.
何をひよったことを言ってんだか。古出家は、先代もあんたもつくづく甘ったるいね。あんたたち古出家が、西宮殿がいかに神聖で不可侵な聖域か一番理解してなくちゃならないんだよ。その古出家の仮にも当主が何を甘ったるいことを言ってるわけ。
I laughed at myself. I was told the same thing by somebody else and was now saying it to Rika.
理解してないわけじゃないんでしょ。
Murder boyfriend. I goofed. Okay. That is true. That is true. So you will maybe Serpils, you have to figure out how to hide your own body. Hmm?
西宮殿は、お社様の大切な場所なのです。勝手に入ったりとかしちゃダメなとこなのです。
わかってるじゃない。そこに汚れを持ち込んだんだよ。あの4人は。
I don't understand what
悪い
Shion's goal
猫
is
さ
here.
んなのです。にゃー。
そうだね。悪い猫だ。2匹は捕まえてお仕置きした。
The best of both worlds. I mean, I'm not complaining.
あと2匹いる。
にゃー。
どうけじめをつけるべきだろうね。
I don't know. This was the exact. I don't know why she has this like this cat allegory because she likes. I mean, she does.
古出家当主のご意見を聞かせてよ。
Rika really didn't wear any expression whatsoever, making it impossible to tell what she was thinking. While I grabbed her by the collar and stared at her, I could tell somehow Rika was a little disturbed. I sensed she was trying to see what I was thinking in turn.
僕は、2匹の猫さんは、許してあげたいです。
それでけじめになると思ってんの？
けじめって言葉が、僕にはよくわからないです。
ああ、いい質問だね。じゃあお勉強しよう。
And so you don't have to deal with watching two people kill each other in front of him.
けじめってのはね、罪をあがなうってことなの。
Why is this what we're doing? Why is this what we're doing? Where would you... Okay, first of all, where would you guys even find people to do this? You say, like, initially, you have to send people, right? You have to find people, and then you have to send them to where I am.
罪は残せない。
Insert furry crying against the wall image, like the werewolf one?
お社様のお怒りを放置することになるんだからね。だから罪の大きさに比例したけじめで
Money.
罪
Then
を
they
清
don't
めなければ
actually
ならな
love
い。
me then.
わかるよね。
お社様は、
Y'all are amateurs? I'll do my... Oh, now we have another person wanting to kill me. Okay.
はぁ？あんた何言ってんの？
あの中を見ちゃダメなのは、あの中に怖い道具がいっぱいあるからなのです。見るときっと、怖がる人もいると思いますのです。
Let's see, what did you send here? Oh, this one! Okay, yeah. I've seen this one before.
だから誰にも見せないようにしてあるのですよ。見た人も、きっと怖かったと思
My
いま
basement
す。
is full of yonderes ready for deployment. Duh. Wait a second. So are you saying, Surplus, you're gonna put Rissa in your basement as well?
だから、反省
She's
し
just
てると
another
思い
person
ま
for
す
you
の
to
です。
toss in there?
反省してるから許されるって。あんたが決めることじゃないでしょ？そりゃお社様が決めること。
僕は、お社様の巫女ですよ。
Oh, these are savings to go wherever you are. Wait, where are you? I am in Canada, so you have to travel pretty far for that.
そんなことは知ってるよ。じゃあ何さ、あんたはお社様に怒ってませんよって直接声を聞いて確認したとでも言うわけ。
Rika nodded yes without hesitation. I can't believe the lie she's coming up with. I'm not surprised, I'm shocked.
あんたら古手家がそんなざまだから、あんたの両親は一昨年のたたりで死んじゃったんだよ。お社様に仕える資格がないとお怒りを受けてね。それであんたの父親をたたり殺したんだよ。
Dude, what is the point that Shion is doing here?
お社様は、そんなことしないのです。お父様は、お社様のたたりで死んだんじゃないのです。
こんなのが最後の古手家の巫女だとはね。お社様が心を安らかにできないのがよくわかるよ。お社様をお祭りする古手家の人間でありながら、嘆かわしい。
ミーが何を怒っているのか、僕にはよくわからないのですよ。
I realized she was in a position to know as much as the other two family heads. As proof, she talked about this year's incident as though it was nothing. Yet she could feign ignorance with a serious face. She sure is something! She's even better than me! I slapped her a few times and pushed her to the floor. Rika, having tumbled downwards, looked up at me with tears
そ
in
も
her
そも
eyes.
あんたが細工殿の鍵が重いから簡単なものに付け替えたいって言い出したのが事の発端なんだよね。
そうですよ。硬くて僕では大変だったので、君吉に相談して、簡
Why
単
did
な
I
鍵に
What
付
did
け
I
替えて
do
もらっ
that?
たのです。
What do you mean, what did I do that? I didn't do anything!
あんたがその程度の手間を惜しまず
Dude,
頑丈な世情をそのまま残していたなら
why is she on-
細工殿への侵入を許さなかったかもしれない。
But I still don't know if this is actually Shion, right? Because they say Shion, but like the way they worded it last time, it seemed like to heavily imply that this was Mion. So I don't know. I don't know.
今回の一件はあんたにも責任の一端があるんだからね。
Hi, there's Surplus. See, now you have a yonder yourself
それを忘れない
who
方がいい。
wants to kill you, I guess, for cheating on her with other yandere GFs in your basement.
もちろんあんたと一緒に鍵を付け替え
I
た
mean, you're
君吉
playing
家
as
当
the
主
game.
に
That
も
means you play as a
責任があるんだ
character.
けど
I
ね。
can't change which character I'm playing as. Okay, this is the character I actually hate the most right now in this game. The last part I added was something on a whim. I added to connect Rika's story to the disappearance of Kimiyoshi. I wanted to pressure her psychologically by doing
君
so.
吉家当主はけじめをつけてもらうことになった。だから消えた。古出家当主にもけじめをつけてもらうことになるよ。
Rika was still on the floor, tears pouring down her
あと残っ
cheeks.
てるのは前原圭一だけ。こいつは古出家の方で頼むことにする。
僕は、何もわかんないのですよ。
別にあんたはわかんなくてもいいでしょ。憂慮したり、困った顔をするだけでいいんだから。
Dude, I hate Shion so
それはう
much.
ちも同じ。とにかく。
Seven suddenly died of a heart attack.
そんなの。
Yeah, that's the thing about, like, anytime... Okay, wait, but you pull the Uno reverse card. How do you get out of this one? Rika hung her head. She seemed to want to say something, but she was afraid I might be rough with her again. I doubted Rika Furude was actually at the top of the curse system like the hag was. However, as one of the three family heads, she was a lot closer to the underside of Hinamizawa than I was. By now, that underside was well aware of Keiichi Maebara. I told the elderly leaders of the village yesterday at the meeting that Keiichi Maebara was the last one remaining. I just told the head of the Furude family the same thing, if threateningly. My threat was effective. The curse of Oishido-sama should very soon fall upon Keiichi Maebara. And just at the right time, I would grab my enemy right as he took my bait. If the assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same sin as the hag. Assassin came from the Furude family, this girl would have committed the same. Okay. When that time came, I wouldn't hold back. Shion is awful. Yes, she is. But I still don't know if this is Shion or Mion. I was gonna make sure she suffered, and then kill her. I've heard of a torture technique where you pound dozens of nails into a victim's fingers. I already found a restraining table and the tools for it. When the time comes, I'll pound nails into your fingers. That gruesome anticipation radiated from my eyes and scared Rika even further. I guess you guys... There you go. I guess you guys are down a D&D player now. I wonder how Kimiyoshi is doing. I doubt he died from the tiptoeing all night, but sometimes a human can go very easily. He already told me everything I wanted to hear, and he doesn't know anything else anyway. On top of that, he was responsible for spreading the infection that was the curse of system of Oyashiro-sama. His sins are very heavy. I really liked Uncle Kimiyoshi. He had always been kind. The hag was so tough on her relatives, and that's why he was extra nice to me. When we talked yesterday, I was so happy to hear him that he would forgive Shion. He even said he would fight the hag to save her. That made me very happy. Don't worry, if Shion-chan feels bad about what she's done, she won't be demoned away. Leave it to me. I felt such warmth inside of me. I almost shivered. I was so happy, yet so very sad. For he continued to say that Satoshi-kun deserved to die. He said those nice things because he wanted to make me unhappy, since she was worried about Shion. Satoshi-kun deserved to die because he was a member of the cursed Hojo family, but Shion-chan of the Sonozaki family did not. That's what he meant. Seven will never die from a heart attack? Why is that not possible? In other words, the leaders of the village, including Kimiyoshi, members of the Hojo family, are more contemptible than insects. They didn't care if they lived or died. Their sins was not only that they despised the Hojo family but also that they let that hatred infect the rest of the village. Therefore, everyone in the village deserves to be a victim of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. Kimiyoshi and the others created an environment. The excused murder in that name. If that was so... The gulp sounds. This very gross sounding, up to the close to the mic, gulp sounds. If Takano-san and Tomitake-san hadn't committed the serious crime of trespassing in the ritual storehouse. What? This is the first time we've seen this guy. Why do we see him now? Why is he, like, wearing the tropical shirt? In Satsuko Hojo, the last survivor of the Hojo family, and Teppei Hojo, who had been hiding in Okinomiya, might have been the victims. You fucking Teppei. Satoko Hojo. She was always around Satoshi-kun. She expected Satoshi-kun to help her every time she cried. She was one of the people who cornered him. If Satoko wasn't that much of a burden, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have killed his aunt. Nope. Well, surely he dies sometime, right? Well, actually, no. The fact that this is... I just don't understand. Why in Chapter 2 here does Teppei not come back? But in Chapter 3 he does. Like, what's different about this? Like, why Like, why do things happen differently in the start that cause certain events to happen? I don't get it. Somebody told Satoshi-kun to commit that murder, and to hide the evidence of his connection to the mastermind. Satoshi-kun was demoned away. That's what Oishi thought. If Satoshi-kun hadn't killed his aunt, maybe he wouldn't have been chosen as the last year's victim. Because commands were vague after all, the curse of Oyashiro-sama fell upon the Hojo family as a whole. It didn't matter which member of the family died. His aunt had a terrible reputation in the neighborhood. She didn't communicate with her neighbors. She was always throwing fits, and there was nothing nice about her in any way. Tepe? More like... Tep poop? Even if Satoshi-kun didn't kill her, the curse would have fallen upon her sooner or later. Her aunt was the first victim. Honestly, that seems accurate. There needed to be another Hojo to calm the curse. According to a rumor, their uncle was living somewhere in Okinomiya with his lover. However, Okinomiya was a little different from Hinamizawa. The Sonosaki family was powerful there as well, of course, but it would have been more difficult in Okinomiya to demon someone away. So naturally, Satoshi-kun and Satoko, who were still in Hinamizawa, became the targets. Which one should be cursed? That was simple. Satoko, of course. She was nobody and lacking in manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi-kun. Even if he was the son of the Hojo couple who betrayed the village during the dam conflict, compared to Satoko, he didn't deserve to die. Therefore, the actual victims of last year's curse should have been his aunt and Satoko. Shion, this is so ridiculously biased! Satoshi-kun was suddenly all alone. His mean aunt and mean uncle were gone. His sister, who was a burden to him all his life, was gone too. Satoshi-kun was such a nice person, he'd be sad, although he'd realize he was finally free. But time would heal him. It'd even help. He didn't have to live in his house in Hinamizawa. There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. Should be used to her bias. But this is like... She's literally, like... Thinking of somebody in, like, the moment. I could see her bias, right? But all of her thoughts, like, about things in the past, it's, like, have been, like, somewhat objective. Right? But this is, like... Like, this is a crazy statement to make. What was it? Satoko, like, which one should be cursed? That was simple. Satoko, of course, she was snobby and lacking manners. Everyone in the neighborhood liked Satoshi. How do you even know that? You literally said you don't even know anything in Hinamizawa. How do you possibly know that? There were plenty of empty rooms in the apartment block where I lived. I could find him a part-time job too. He didn't need to go to school in Hinamizawa. He could go to school with me in Okinomiya instead. And then now it's like her fantasies of like how she wants everything to be around, like revolving around her. He wouldn't know his way around really or anything about the school there, so I'd be with Satoshi-kun all the time. I'd show him a shortcut to school, we'd go shopping, and I'd teach him many different things. What an unbelievably happy ending. Satoshi-kun had been suffering so much and had been pushed away all my life. We would finally be happy. I enjoyed these sweet delusions, but I didn't have any more time to waste. I was sure there are plenty of old people who've been trying to get a hold of Oreo all morning who was going to try to catch me after I got home from school. Actually, the phone had been ringing constantly while I enjoyed my happy thoughts. When I answered the phone, I casually listened and replied. As I planned, Keiichi Maebara is now known as the next curse victim within the underside of Hinamizawa. I also tried to let them know the disappearance of the village chief. It's something to do with the fact that he changed the lock on the ritual storehouse door. All the authorities on the underside came to realize the seriousness of trespassing into the storehouse. After all, one of the heads of the 3 families got punished. One of the phone calls was from Oishi. He had also heard about Kimiyoshi's disappearance, and he knew it had something to do with the changing of the lock. I'm impressed. He had some pretty good sources, but all he can do is catch whatever information he can get. There's no way for him to find out where it's coming from. I'd call Keiichi Maebara again later tonight. Some of the more aggressive villagers may have already started to take action around him. I'm sure that by now, Keiichi's feeling the danger that's coming towards him. I have to be careful that he doesn't get killed easily. If I can catch the enemy before they bit Keiichi, I can use him as bait again. Keiichi Maebara. I haven't known him for that long. He's funny, if not intelligent. He'll never replace Satoshi-kun, but I do think he's fun to be around. There's just one thing I don't like about him. He rubs my head far too often. His hand is as warm as Satoshi-kun's hand, which is why I can't stand it. But that's about it. Keiichi Maebara isn't Satoshi-kun's enemy. I don't hate him. He's fun to be around. But I wouldn't shed a tear for him if he became a victim of the curse. I won't prevent Keiichi Maebara from being killed, but I won't kill myself either. I made arrangements for the curse to fall upon him, but I never told anyone to kill him. Well, I suppose I did tell Rika Furude to take care of Keiichi Maebara. Wait a minute. To avenge Satoshi-kun, I'm doing exactly the same thing as the hag did. I'm using the exact same system that killed Satoshi-kun. Keiichi Maebara. I'm just using him. I told people to let the curse fall upon Keiichi, but I've been giving him appropriate warnings. I'm gonna help him if he tries to live. If I catch all of my enemies. Maybe I'll let him loose. He's different from Satoshi-kun. Satoshi-kun was tricked into killing his aunt and was killed afterwards, so there wouldn't be any evidence remaining. I won't kill Keiichi Maebara. That's how I'm different from the hag. Okay, so this is where she made her resolution to give up Keiichi. Everything was turning to night. I had to get dinner ready. I had to eat so I'd have enough strength to take revenge. This place was far from the town. It would even get isolated during winter because of the snow. It's not unusual for a household like this to have 2 or 3 refrigerators. There are plenty of groceries left in them. Wait, which house is this? Oh, okay, this is the normal house. I was glad I didn't have to go grocery shopping. Butt plug. How do you feel, Arissa? That's what your sister said. I could hear the chorus of the Higurashi. People often say the sound of the Higurashi brings back memories. But for me, it's the exact opposite. I've only ever heard of the sound of the Higurashi in Hinamizawa. Therefore, the sound of Higurashi to me is Hinamizawa. Butts with plugs. Yeah, sometimes they do have that. Sometimes. That was when I heard the doorbell. Because there's a good distance between the house and the gate, there was both a doorbell and an intercom by the ladder. It had a security camera too. Something as modern as a security camera monitor in this old-fashioned kitchen looked rather strange. I turned the switch, but nothing appeared to be on the monitor. I tried to check the plug, the butt plug, but there were a bunch of cords going behind the refrigerator, so I couldn't even do that. The doorbell continued to ring while I tried to figure out if the monitor was broken or if I didn't know how to turn it on. I only felt like answering the door, depending on who it was. It'd normally be easier to pretend to be out, but that wouldn't help me. I was waiting for my enemies to show up. I couldn't just hide myself in that case. The hag was supposed to be sick and in an extremely bad mood. Help-wise butt plugs in this story. I don't know, Rissa. I don't know. It just kind of showed up, I guess. It showed up when you showed up. Maybe that has a meaning to it. I already sent word out that she didn't want to see anyone. So who could it be? I made up my mind and turned the intercom on. If it was someone unwanted, I could just turn whoever it was away. But I had to act normally so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. What is that supposed to mean? I'm just saying, you brought up the topic again, and then I had to check the plug. You know, it was brought up in the story. I'm just saying, it could be coincidence, I think not. But I had to act normally so I wouldn't arouse suspicion. I had to act normally.
はい。どちら様でしょう？
こんにちはなのです。
She didn't tell me her name, but I recognized her voice.
リカちゃんか。どうしたの？こんな時間に。
実は、お醤油を分けてもらいに来たのですよ。
Soy sauce? I almost screamed, but I controlled myself. I took a moment to think about the situation. Hinamizawa was far from most stores, so sometimes neighbors would share seasoning and stuff with each other. The village sometimes got snowed in during winter. Stop relating my girlfriend to your obsession. What my obsession? You can literally search in chat. And like scroll up a tiny bit and see that it was said multiple times by her, actually. But the Furude shrine was quite far from this house. It was rather odd for her to come all this way on her bicycle just to get some soy sauce. What is that? Butt plug! Butt plug! Butt plug! Yummy! Yummy! Butt plug! Butt plug! Maybe there was something she wanted me to talk about. I don't know what you expected either. Like, you wrote it and you know what was coming. Like, I don't know what you expected. We still have plenty of homemade soy sauce in stock. Feel free to come to Sonozaki House if you want some. The hag must have given that flyer to everyone. One of our relatives sent her a barrel of soy sauce. If you want some, bring a container. That's what the flyer said. I see. This would explain it. There's a handwritten note on the bottom of the flyer. The soy sauce is in the storage area under the floor. Give them as much as they want. There was a storage area beneath the floor. When I opened it, I saw a barrel of soy sauce along a funnel and a ladle. I didn't want Rika to notice anything suspicious at this point. Someone needs to... Well, I think there's only one person that you can direct your gaze towards. I decided to share the soy sauce with her.
いいよ。入れるものは持ってきてるの？
お醤油の瓶を持ってきましたのです。
オッケー。勝手に入ってきていいよ。玄関で待ってる。
As I headed there, I heard the doorbell ring again.
内側から閉まってて、門が入れないのですよ。
ああ、そうだった。ごめん。今開けに行くよ。待ってて。
People didn't pay much attention to safety around here in Hinamizawa. People didn't think too much about locking the doors, but as someone who lived around a town, I've always locked everything. That Rika food a day in, I'd have to go outside.
こんばんはなのですよ。
Rika always seems so happy.
こんばんは。
Rika smiled at me. She was holding a huge soy sauce bottle. She acted like I never yelled at her, got violent with her, or made her cry at all today. Or perhaps she came to curry favor, thinking that she angered me. Big gulp of Slurpee straw. It's just drinking from my water bottle, my 700 ml water bottle. I invited Rika to the front door. I told her to wait a moment and tried to take the bottle. But Rika took her shoes off and walked into the house with the bottle in her hand.
いいよ。私が入れてくるから待ってなよ。
僕も、上後でお醤油入れるのは上手になったのですよ。
750 ml, yeah. She looked at me as if I'm begging. How many ounces is that? Let's search it up. 750 ml to OZ. It is 25.3605. Excuse me. I guess she wanted to pour the soy sauce into the bottle herself. I didn't want her to come into the house. Yeah, it's not big. It's not a lot. If she came to the kitchen with me, I could keep my eyes on her. And so I brought Rika to the kitchen. Mine is 67 ounces? Do you have like one of those big ones? Like 6, 7. I got that one, Surplus. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a good one. So I brought Rika to the kitchen. We walked down the hallway. I only heard my footsteps. I stopped suddenly and turned around to make sure Rika was following me. Let me see let's see. Yeah, okay, it's like this. Oh, okay, wait, it's not as big as I thought it was gonna be. Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about like this one. That's like, I guess no, this is the same. Yeah, never mind. Oh yeah, like these. I thought you were talking about like this one, where it's like one of those big ones that you hold and it's literally like this. Rika bumped into me.
ああ、ごめん。
Yes, that's it? Damn, really? Okay. I made sure she was right behind me and started to walk again. Tap, tap, tap. Tip, tip, tip. Tap, tap. Tip, tip. Rika must have been having fun, matching her footsteps to mine. Even when I quickly sped up, our footsteps matched perfectly. Tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tip, tip. Tip, tip. I drink 2 a day? Damn, you're a crazy water drinker. That's good that you drink a lot of water. 2 a day is wild, though. Tap, tap, tap. I stopped suddenly. Tip, tip, tip. Tip. Rika stopped suddenly, too, after taking an extra step. When I turned around, Rika smiled at me. Our footsteps matched perfectly, and when I stopped suddenly, I heard her extra step. I've experienced such footsteps before. It was making me uncomfortable. But now, although her footsteps sounded the same as the other ones I'd experienced, I saw her when I turned around. That was the difference between them. So inclusive. Optimally, how would you like to die? Optimally, how would I like to die? In my sleep of old age. That's optimally how I'd like to die. I left the storage door open so we could see the soy sauce barrel. I want to be okay. I actually don't think strangling to death does not sound good at all, because it's like you just don't get any oxygen. I've always said that I think drowning is one of the worst ways to die. And like strangling probably is up there as one of the worst ones, I think. Mama said she can take as much as she wants, but I wasn't sure there was enough left. Okay, I'll make sure to do the opposite of that. And what exactly is the opposite of that? I crouched down and tried to open the lid of the soy sauce barrel. Even when I crouched down, I could hear Rika's extra step.
まだまだいっぱいあるよ。ほら、好きなだけ持ってきたらいい。
Okay, so how does this lead to Rika dying? It just seems like a normal conversation. When I turned around, Rika was very close to me. But, huh? Who was this? I saw Rika, but it wasn't Rika at all. It was like when I switched with my sister. The outside was the same, but the inside was different. Did Rika have a twin sister? I was confused for a moment. It was when Rika sprayed something from a small bottle into my eyes? What? I felt a terrible pain in my eyes and suddenly tears poured out and my nose started to run. I couldn't stop sneezing either. Okay, so she pepper sprayed her. As I stumbled around covering my face, I then realized I was attacked. I shut my eyes tightly for a moment, then opened them again. Rika was about to grab my hair to drag me down to the floor. When Rika saw me open my eyes, she sprayed me again. I shut my eyes to avoid the spray, but my nose still breathed in the substance. I avoided the pain in my eyes, but the tears, the runny nose, and the sneezing continued. Shit! Ow! My brain isn't working quickly enough. However, when I finally understood that I'd been attacked by Rika Furude, my brain started to grind into motion. Rika Furude knocked me on my back and got on top of me. I tried to escape from her by rolling onto the kitchen floor. As I rolled, I hit an oven, a huge jar, and destroyed a pile of something on the floor as I fought back. But Rika didn't let go of me. She stayed on top and restrained me. She was sitting on my stomach and I felt an intense pain and pressure. She sure could fight well. I still couldn't see anything. Rika had the upper hand, my eyes were shut and I was in real danger. Wait. What? As I tried to blink, I saw Rika's expression. I didn't know Rika Furude all that well. I only knew her from the few times we met each other when I went to school as Mion, and from the things I've heard from other people. But as far as I knew, there was no way Rika Furude would ever do something like this. This is just impossible, impossible, impossible! No, I can't fill my head with that word. I have to calm down and figure out what to do next. Shit, I'm too much of a mess to even think! I tried to peek at her face again. She saw the spray bottle in one hand. What I didn't expect was a thing in her other hand. How could I mistake it for anything else? It was definitely a syringe. And when Rika realized I'd regained my eyesight, she pointed the spray bottle right at me and let loose with it. I shut my eyes tightly and tried to ignore the pain, but that was when, even though I was blinded, Rika made a miscalculation. She had sprayed at me from such a close distance that she inhaled the substance as well. I heard Rika sneeze and realized that it was my chance. Even if I couldn't see, I knew she was right there. I hit Rika's face a few times. When I felt Rika's weight shift, I escaped. Then I got my stun gun ready. Rika must have inhaled just a little of the spray. She wasn't sneezing anymore, was just glancing at me instead.
上等切ってくれんじゃないの。ぶちまけられていか。
Rika's expression didn't change, but she was sure disappointed that her surprise attack was a failure. Rika flinched, just a little, but she was still holding the spray bottle and aiming at my eyes. She was trying to use the spray first, and then give me the shot. I don't know what was in that syringe, but it was a clear liquid. It had to be something bad. She wanted to take my eyesight, get on top of me, and then give me the shot. But if whatever was in the syringe took a while to take effect, I might have the chance to fight back and seriously injure Rika. But Rika's surprise attack told me that just being injected was more than enough. In other words, whatever the effect, it would start to work immediately. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to fight back against her. It'd probably either knock me out or kill me. In any case, what I had was equally deadly. My stun gun was very powerful. Just one shot would be all it took. What happened before was proof of its power. Rika knew my stun gun was a lot more powerful than her spray. She was being extremely cautious.
おらおら、いつまで人ん家に上がり込んでボサッとしてくれてるわけさ。そっちから来ないんなら、こっちから行くぞ、こら! I threw a pile of newspapers at her. The pile wasn't tied together, so the newspapers flew all over Rika. Rissa die? How did Rissa die? I jumped at her immediately after. I shoved my stun gun into her and pulled the trigger. Rika spasmed and fell to the floor. You fool! Hesitating in a fight where a single blow wins. Only amateurs just glare at each other.
You don't have a single clue about how advantageous the first strike is when a single blow can decide everything. The spray bottle rolled on the ground, but she still had the syringe. Rika was down, but I couldn't let my guard down either. I kicked her in the side and clambered on top of her. I took the syringe. I held Rika's arm down and gave her the shot. My actions could hardly be called gentle. I injected her violently. I injected everything that was in that syringe. Rika began to convulse. I stood back and watched for what happened to her body. Of course, I still had my guard up. While I assumed the drug would incapacitate her immediately, I didn't know what kind of reaction she would have.
ざまあないね。私に勝てるとか夢にでも思った。なめんじゃねえや。
After a few more convulsions, Rika unsteadily got to her feet. That's ridiculous. How could she even stand? I looked at my stun gun. Damn it! The power's on the lowest setting. Maybe it had been readjusted when we were rolling around on the floor. I changed the setting to the maximum. Rika's turned pale and started sweating all over. I didn't know its exact effects, but Rika had given me the shot. I'd be the one experiencing the symptoms. She looked really sick, so obviously she must have been feeling awful too. She couldn't even focus. She was very wobbly and had her hand on the wall. She lost her balance, and it must have been hard for her to even stand. She didn't look so brave anymore. Rika wobbled some more and moaned as if she was about to throw up. Hanyu? Who is Hanyu? Rika looked scary as she moaned and wobbled, but at the same time she looked kind of funny too. Certainly she hadn't even dreamt she was getting shot herself. As the man sows, so shall he reap. That's what he gets.
実に滑稽だね。笑えるよ。でも吐くときは勘弁ね。お手洗いで吐いてちょうだいよ。あんたがあとどのくらいでくたばるのか見物するのも楽しいよ。ああ、でもそれじゃあ拷問する楽しみがなくなるね。私さ、あんたにはあの釘台を使ってやろうとずっと心に決めてたんだよね。あんたが自分の薬でゲロを吐きながらそれで窒息して死ぬのが早いか、両手十指に釘をたらふく食らって痛みで行くのが早いか。よし決めた。じゃあ会場を移そうか。場所を移すためにちょいと眠っててもらうよ。
So this is the same syringe that was in chapter 1. The one that they were trying to give Keiichi. I walked up to Rika, my stun gun making popping sounds. When Rika saw the sparks from the stun gun. Remember how Rika has a syringe on her in 2 as well? I think I do remember that. Now that you mention it, I do remember something like that, but I can't remember exactly how it was brought up or why. Oh, you mean that she had a syringe in her pocket? Oh yeah, I remember that now. That for some reason, Rika had a syringe in her pocket. We had no clue what it was. When Rika saw the sparks from the stun gun, she moved to grab a huge kitchen knife.
おや、まだその程度の元気はあるわけだ。そうでなくちゃ面白くないよ。あんたにはいろいろ聞きたいことがあるしね。無駄に抵抗しない方がいろいろと辛くないよ。もっとも抵抗しなくても辛い目に遭うだろうけど。
Because of how foolish he is. How am I foolish? What are you talking about?
残念だけど、あんたの
Who
誘い
the
は
hell
断
is
るわ。
this? This is not Rika.
この拷問狂が。
What she said wasn't anything I'd expect to hear from Rika I knew. But I didn't hesitate. I had the advantage, so I didn't need to worry. Besides, this was coming from the last survivor of the Furude family. One of the 3 families. That sudden change somehow felt natural.
あんたらの御三家の血塗られた歴史に比べたら、私なんてとてもとても。
We were way ahead of you on lots of things by this point in Higurashi. You are super stupid. I guess we'll see what happens then.
それを古出家当主様に褒めてもらえるなんてね、ちょっと光栄だね。んで、そのフラフラな体で包丁一本で抵抗してみせる。立っているだけでも限界なくせに。そうね、あんたの言う通り、これがどうも私の限界。お前なんかに召し取られて拷問で殺されるくらいなら。退場できるならしてごらんよ。
It was clear who held the advantage here, but despite that, an odd thrill filled both of us. We lost our minds wasn't a fitting phrase for the people of Hinamizawa. It was a feeling of release when modern demons could stop pretending to be human. Yes, this was a mad banquet of demons, with the savoring of blood and the devouring of flesh. Attended by the head of the Furude family, and the head of the Sonozaki family, the old families whose blood is closest to the madness of the demons, I stood in front of the hallway so as to block her escape. The windows had grates and the door had a safety chain on it. When she turned around, I hit her with my stun gun. In this situation, what did Rika Furude mean by taking her leave? Rika got her knife ready. She gonna stab herself? I expected her to aim at my stomach when she attacked, so I took a stance with my stun gun ready in hand. Rika, however, suddenly turned around. I carefully watched to see what her next move would be. Rika put the handle of the knife to the wall and held it in place. What was she doing?
じゃあね。さよなら拷問狂。お前なんかに殺されてたまるか。
Rika reared her head back and slammed her throat against the knife on the wall. Her blood splattered all over. Rika bent backwards repeatedly and let the knife slash her throat. Again and again. Her neck and chest were dyed red. I'd always thought blood was darker. But her blood wasn't dark. It was so bright. I must have been confused, but it looked pretty. After doing this several times, Rika turned around. Her eyes were wide open. She didn't look like she was from this world. Her face looked like something both living and dead, both real and artificial. It was very scary, eerie, and above all else, pale. Although her face looked unearthly, it was a very appropriate face for a demon. I didn't have a mirror, so I couldn't tell, but I was sure I looked exactly like her. Rika continued to violently slash her throat. It reminded me of someone trying to break a huge piece of ice with an ice pick. That was exactly what Rika looked like. The white chips of ice coolly flying through the air. What I saw before me was a beautiful sight. Every time Rika struck her throat, tiny drops of red blood splattered the boring white world around her. It was like a dance. A dedication dance by the final head, Furude family. The demon's last dance of dedication to Oyashiro-sama. Upon seeing that literally blood-curdling dance, I let out a fierce roar. I had no reason to do so. I was howling like an animal. We were like animals trying to kill each other, both getting covered in blood. And inevitably, as one convulsed in a pool of that blood, the other threw back its head and howled. My body shivered with the joy I felt inside of me. This was death, the most final of judgments, and it was right before me. The demons howled, screamed, and roared. The roars faded, and my voice started to change from the voice of a demon back to that of a human. As a demon, I roared. But as a human, I sneered. Rika was covered in blood from her neck down. Her blood was pouring out, making a little noise. Rika was still staring into my eyes. I stared back at her. I wasn't sure they were still eyes, though. They're no longer human eyes, but the eyes of the dead. Rika's corpse vomited blood from her mouth and nose and smiled. And she dropped the knife. She stuck her hands out and turned her palms upward. So, that seems like the exact way she died in Chapter 3. They play this scene at the beginning of the episode 4 of the anime for some reason. Like when you were watching the anime, her wiggling fingers reminded me of an insect's leg. Those fingers reached for her own throat. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody do this before because Rika was scratching her own throat. She was ripping her own throat apart. So so that syringe did have to do with Tomitake's death, then. It's now confirmed. Maybe that wasn't a good description. She was trying to rip out the inside of her throat through the opening she'd made with the knife. But does that mean... Does the scratching of throat only happens if you get stabbed in the neck already? Or is it just what happens if you get stabbed in the throat? Yeah, the anime very first scene of Arc 2 is Rika killing herself despite never showing up until Chapter 5. I see. One of the only scenes I saw in the anime before the visual novel on some scary anime moments comp in 2014. Okay. Her fingers found the biggest tear. Rika smiled. At least that's what I would have called it if she was alive. So she was already dead at this point. Or at least that's what it is alluding to. It seems like it's some sort of way the body is convulsing after death. She ripped open the tear in one tug. Ugh. Upon hearing my scream, Rika died and fell on her face into the pool of blood. That was it. She didn't get up again to show me her throat. I stepped back from Rika Furude's body and bumped into the wall in the hallway. Ah! I roared again in admiration of the ritual dance of dedication of the head of the Furude family. Joy ran through my body and my blood rushed through my veins. Diabarha made a song about Shion's rampage? Really? Unless you're gonna play Uranoid again. I then realized I disposed of the heads of 3 families, the core of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I'm pretty, just like I feel like every single chapter, it's just all complete misunderstandings. Like, people, this is why I get so frustrated with hiding information. I'm pretty sure all of this is stemming from misunderstandings. Chapter 1, misunderstanding. Chapter 2, misunderstanding. Chapter 3, misunderstanding. Chapter 4, but, like, it's all, I guess Chapter 4 doesn't really count. Chapter 4 doesn't count, yeah. But every other chapter, it's all just misunderstandings on misunderstandings, and that causes people to take drastic things for no reason at all. Everything was finally exposed. The curse of Oyashiro-sama and its masterminds were all exposed. Disposed of the 3 leaders of the leaders of the 3 families who all killed Satoshi-kun. Yeah, I think so. I've thought this since the very beginning, and I think so now. It's all just complete misunderstandings. Head of the Sonozaki family died of a heart attack. He was at the bottom of the well, along with the wheelchair. I apprehended the head of the Kimiyoshi family. He continued to tiptoe until he died. The head of the Furude family died, in a way that was perfect for the final head of the 3 families of Onigafuchi. Did it? Like, I've said this since the very beginning. I don't think in Chapter 1 they were trying to kill him. Like, maybe at the very end you can argue they were trying to kill him then. I don't think even Rika was trying to kill her here. I think that syringe does something, right? It does something, I don't know what it would do. Maybe it's like a memory erasing thing or something like that, right? But I don't think the syringe necessarily leads you to die. I think because otherwise, after Rika stabbed herself, after Rika got injected, she would just let herself die. But no, she purposely put the knife up to her throat and stabbed it. So that syringe, when they gave Keiichi initially, wasn't going to kill him either. Like, it's stuff like that. It's like, and there are so many times where it's like, when they put the needle in the mochi, I don't think that was them trying to trying to kill him either. Like, I think it was genuinely a joke, because they seemed seriously Mion seemed seriously broken up about it. And then you're not getting mad at Keiichi, they're getting mad at someone for putting thoughts in his head that they were evil. Like, it's just, like, this entire thing is just misunderstandings. Every single story. I did it. I accomplished my mission. I defeated all the masterminds. You killed Satoshi-kun, the curse. Everyone. Satoshi-kun, you are powerless. But Shion is the worst of them all. Because everyone else, it's like misunderstandings, right? And it's like, just because no one's telling them information. This is why things start. Because nobody tells them information. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to know. So if you're not supposed to know, what other conclusion are you supposed to come to? Like, it's this. I'm getting so mad. I'm getting so mad right now because people did not have to hide things. They do not have to hide things. Satoshi-kun, you were powerless. You didn't have the means to fight back. Those evil people simply sneered while they let you die. After making you as a member of the cursed Hojo family, I will never, ever forgive them. They believed you deserved to die because you're one of the Hojos. I'm glad you're getting passionate. No, it's because it just gets me so mad. Like, one of the things I hate the most about life in general, like, not even, like, one of the things that pisses me off in conversations is, like, I don't want to talk about it. Or it's like, you're not supposed to know this piece of information. Like, that stuff is like, just in general in life, pisses me off. And it's some of the things that get me genuinely mad. And the entire basis of Higurashi is that aspect. That we're hiding information and you can't know it. And every single chapter, that is the basis of everything. Okay, chapter 1, no, you're not supposed to know about the damn thing. You're not supposed to know about Oyashiro-sama's curse. What does that mean? Keiichi leads to killing them. Like, Keiichi leads to running away. The entire village is against it. Chapter 2, Mion and Shion. Like, that's the thing that was hidden the entire time. Keiichi making the misunderstandings with Mion and Shion. And then that was the entire misunderstanding with that. Chapter 3. I guess chapter 3 is not really misunderstanding, necessarily. Maybe it was, actually. I guess you could kind of argue that there's some misunderstandings, but it's more like things weren't being done. Chapter 4, I don't think chapter 4 really counts. There's a backstory thing. That doesn't really matter. And we go back to here. It's Shion mistaking the villagers with, like, thinking that they had something to do with Satoshi's death because they hid information from them. From Shion. She just is not privy to that knowledge. So what else is she supposed to think? Like, it's just... Man, like, this is one of the things that just gets me pissed off in life in general, and this is what the entire story is based upon, and that is why I'm getting so passionate here. I will never forgive those people for creating this world. What could I have done to save you, Satoshi-kun? I couldn't save you. Shion Sonozaki couldn't do anything else at the time. If I was Mion, not Shion, if I was Mion that day, I could have saved you. Mion could have saved you. That's right. I remember now. Shion! She said she wanted to eat red snapper sashimi that day. I was supposed to eat that, but Shion pouted and cried. That's why I let her switch, just for that night. I did it to make her happy, like a big sister would. Shion was never treated well, so I felt bad. That was it. I was being a good sister, that was it. Yes, so this is what happens. Mion and Shion were switched during that time in the festival. It is confirmed right here. And since then, Mion has been mistaken for Shion, and Shion has been mistaken for Mion. But I don't understand. Why, if she was treated... And yes, it just makes a lot more sense. When morning came, the world had been turned upside down, and it remained so until today. We weren't twins anymore. The one with the demon was Mion, and the one without the demon was Shion. What was that supposed to mean? Wait, Mom. Listen. I'm Mion, not her. You can tell us apart, right, Mom? Look, can't you tell I'm Mion? Come on, everyone tell me I'm Mion. I'm Mion! Don't call me Shion! I'm Mion! I am!
その時、私ははっきり悟ったよ。あんたは知っていたんだ。あの夜、親類たちが集まって何をするのか、ただの宴会じゃないって知っていたんだ。知らない、本当に知らなかったの。はぁ？なわけないでしょ。あんた、あの日だけ嫌にしつこく絡んできたじゃない。タイの刺身なんて食べたことない。食べてみたい。いつもミオンばかりずるい。私にもって。普段ならおとなしく納得するくせに。知らないの。本当に知らなかったの。あんな恐ろしいことになるなんて。思ってたら絶対に言わなかった。はっ、どうだか。あんたはいつも妬んでたじゃない。ミオンばかりいい目にあってずるいって。だから私が気を利かせて、たまに入れ替わってあげてたんじゃない。あんたはそれに満足していなかった。より一層妬んでいったんだ。そしてあの夜の意味を自分だけ知り、私から奪ったんだ。ミオンを奪ったんだ。ミオンを返せ。私がミオンなんだ。私が園崎ミオン。お前はシオンなんだよ、シオン。ミオンを語るな、偽物が。
I kicked the bars of the cell repeatedly while I roared. Compared to my roar, the metallic noise of the bar sounded like the cry of a little puppy. I had been convinced by something so stupid. The tattoo of the demon was just a way of telling us apart. Even without that tattoo, I am Mion. That is right. I am Mion Sonozaki. I gathered my hair and put it in a ponytail with the yellow band that Mion used all the time. Since I didn't feel my hair on my neck, I felt like I could think more clearly now. The two Mions looked at each other through the iron bars. According to our sibling rules, that was never to happen. Yet there's only one Mion and one Shion. There can never be two of either at the same time.
髪をほどけシオン。ミオンは私だ。ミオンはここにいる。お前がミオンじゃない。だから語るな、二度と私を語るな。聞いているのか、シオン。聞こえているのか。聞こえているなら返事をしろ。私に返事を届かせろ。シオン。
I took myself back on this day. Shion admitted she was Shion.
はあ、ミオンであることがこんなにも素晴らしいなんて。すごいよ。体全体が言うことを聞く。頭の回転が優れた気がする。そうだよ。ミオンは万能なんだ。ミソカスのシオンとは違う。
Let me just, now that it's confirmed, let me just,
落ちこぼれのくせに下手なミオンのふりなんかしやがって。
there we go.
それが私にとってどれだけむずがゆかったことか。わかるでしょ、あんたになら。シオン。
はい。おね。
Shion called me sis. And so, I was Mion. Ah! The demon who had been asleep deep inside of me was finally allowed to wake up. The demon roared, and my whole body shivered to express its joy.
シオン、あんたには罪がある。あんたは今までミオンだった。園崎家の鬼を継ぐミオンという強い立場がありながら、サトシ君を救わなかった、救おうとしなかった。サトシ君を救うための100億の瞬間があったはずなのに、あんたはその全てを見殺しにすることを選んだんだ。私は許さない。お前を許さない。お前が私だったらサトシ君を救えていたのに。お前が私を奪いサトシ君を殺したことを、私は絶対に許さない。
Shion was shaking on the other side of the bars.
私はお前を殺すだろう。絶対に殺す。
Why are we
サト
still...
シ君の無念に見合う殺し方をしてやる。
Why are we still getting... I wonder why... There has to be a reason this hasn't happened, right? Why hasn't the name changed from Shion to Mion? You know? The only reason I could think of is like... sorry. The only reason that I could think of that is a not story reason is just for the reader. It makes it, like, probably make it kind of confusing. But I feel the name should change.
お前を一番残酷に殺す方法が何なのか。今日から毎日考えて過ごしてやる。シオンは私がそれを思いつくまでのわずかな日々を、いつ殺されるのか、どう殺されるのかに怯えながら過ごすがいい。簡単には殺さない。むごたらしく殺す。殺した後はサトシ君と同じ井戸に放り投げてやる。そしてサトシ君にあの世で謝ってこい。それが私を語り続けてきたことへの報いだ。報いお前の罪。ああ
I need to at least clean up the kitchen. While I was putting old newspapers on the floor to absorb the blood, the phone rang. I didn't want to answer, but maybe I should. That is now going to be Satoko. I should answer it and talk to whoever it was.
はい、園崎です。
いつもお世話になってるでございます。北条と申しますですわ。
I was surprised to hear the Hojo name. I realized right away it was Satoko.
あ、さとこ？どうしたの？
夜分遅くに申し訳ありませんわね。うちのリカがお邪魔してませんこと？
Yeah. Ever since Satoko Hojo was abandoned, she'd been living with Rika Furude. Of course she gets suspicious that Rika hadn't returned
あ、
yet.
来てるよ。
あら、まだお邪魔してますの？もう夕飯の時間ですのに。
ねえさとこ、実はね、今日さ、ちょいとおかずを作りすぎちゃってね。リカちゃんにも夕食を振る舞ってるんだよ。
そうなんでございますの？
さとこも来なよ。さとこの分もあるからさ。
And then this is the same thing.
リカちゃんはもう食べてるよ。
もうリカったら。わかりましたわ。ちょっと片付けをしてから参りますわね。では、ごめんあそばせ。
うん、待ってるからね。じゃ。
Okay. Click. So Rena's prediction in chapter... Well, I think she confirmed it, right? Like, in chapter 2, she confirmed it already. That it was the exact same thing. That was like, oh, she was caught off guard and everything. Wait, so do we not see Satoko's death? Are we meant to assume that Shion tortured Satoko with the nails and everything that she wanted to do initially?
園崎さんから。園崎さんって、どっち？姉？妹？そんなのは知らん。自分で出て聞きなさい。もしもし、ミオンか？シオンか？
私です。
Oh yeah, oh yes, yeah. Okay, sorry, I forgot. Yes, let me do that. This is probably the best time to do it. Right before the call. Timeline, what if you were burned alive? This is what you sent here, Surplus. Okay, before 50 days. What's the thing? This is how I die. So, there were more... Before 50 days, there have been... Police have a plan to create a new law. Laws that criminals can be burnt alive. Unfortunately, this doesn't apply to smaller crimes. Today, the Supreme Court voted and the new law is approved. Criminal criminals convicted to be burned alive. It's ghastly to burn your body. You are on fire. Dude, I don't know why I always find these videos so funny. But I don't think that's the worst, like, the worst crimes. Because it's unimaginable. The heat is immense. Pain is the worst you've ever felt. You cannot control it. You scream and you shout as never before. Your body's on fire, so black smoke starts forming. Your body goes into survival mode after 5 seconds. Adrenaline results in an extremely high heart rate. The heat from the fire causes an extreme body temperature. Your skin is literally being cooked. The fire starts destroying your nerves, but it'll take a while. So before you stop feeling pain, I guess. Because you inhaled the smoke, you suffer from an extremely dry and sore throat. Your lungs are becoming completely filled with smoke. After 22 to 35 seconds. Wow. Wow, it takes you a lot longer to die from burning than I realized. Like, this is a minute you're burning here. The heat and flames scorch your eyes, leaving you blind. It's too much for your body. You're in a state of shock. The heat of the fire causes shrinkage of the skin. A human body smells awful on fire. Your skin's getting burned away by the fire. How are you still alive at this point? Your body can no longer handle it, and you do not have enough oxygen. Just after losing consciousness, you die from smoke inhalation. That's crazy. That took almost 2 minutes to happen. You may be dead, but your body will remain on fire, of course. Your body's fat acts as fuel for the fire. You no longer feel pain. Well, you're... Okay, wait. You die from smoke intoxication. You no longer feel pain. I think something should happen before that. The fire will cause soft tissues to contract and cause the muscles to shrink. That's because your body folds together because your muscles shrink. Body totally deformed. No one will recognize you anymore. You barely look human. Organs start burning. After your muscles and skin, it's your organs' turn. Even your bodily fluids begin to boil. Because of this, they even vaporize, okay? The last bit of skin you had is burnt away. So... This is how I die, Surplus. This torture is what you want me to go through for a simple nothing crime as skipping a 15-minute scene in Spider-Man. Some bones and ashes are all what's left of you. Wow. How amazing is that? This is the image of Shion with Rika's blood on her face called Paranoid. Oh, this is... Wait! I feel like... You sent this before. I've seen this image before. Alright, sounds good, Surplus. Have a good night. Enjoy your sleep. Thank you for stopping by. We'll be experiencing more Higurashi
シオンです。こんばんは。
シオン、ゆべは、すまなかった。つい興奮して。
That makes sense why they're rotating so much as well, or why Mion allows her or why Mion, quote unquote, allows her to rotate. Because she feels bad for taking her spot. It seems that my hanging up on him in the middle of his complaining last night had a positive effect.
私たちは運命共同体なんです。互いの無事の確認が自分たちの安全の唯一の保証なんです。
ああ、それについては同感だ。
だから私たちは互いの知っている情報を共有する必要があります。高野さんたちみたいな死に方をしないために。
Gulp. I heard Keiichi swallow loudly.
では、昨日の続きを話します。もう怒らないで聞いてくれますよね。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
Keiichi agreed to be quiet and listen. I explained the dangerous situation Keiichi was in once again. Just like how some evil people in the village attacked Takano-san and Tomitake-san, they might attack us any day. It was ironic, of course, that while I was warning him, I was also the one who made sure the curse would fall upon him.
互いに何か気になることがあったら報告し合いましょう。互いの持つ小さな断片を合わせていけば、ひょっとすると、高野さんたちを殺した。
I don't get how long were Mion and Shion switched for? Because it's obviously been longer than, like a couple years, right? Also, by the way, let's remove all this stuff, right? Let's remove all this stuff. 300 Rika and Satsuko. Yeah, no, but that's what I was saying, Ruben. Like, didn't they confirm it in chapter 2 that, or like, Mion, Shion, whatever her name is, confirm it? That it's like, when Dena was like calling her out, it's like, oh, this, and she was like caught off guard, and then that's why she started, like confessing or saying whatever stuff. What was I saying before? I completely forgot. Yeah, okay, so if Mion here has the tattoo on her back, could she not just show it? Could she not just show it and then be like, I'm Mion, and then everything would be fine? I don't know, what is the... If she was that caught up about not being Mion, why could she not just show the tattoo? I feel like that would fix a lot of things. I don't know. Let's report anything.
過去の連続事件を解決する鍵が見つかるかもしれません。
そうだな。確かにそうだ。
では、まずは言い出した私からいきます。最近、誰かに監視されているような気がします。
I was making this up. I just wanted him to realize how urgent this situation was.
と言っても、気のせいかもしれません。でも一応報告します。今は気のせいだと思っていますけど、もしもケイちゃんも同じように、これは気のせいじゃないのかもしれませんから。
そういうことなら安心しろ。少なくとも、俺の方は大丈夫だ。
It seemed like nothing had happened to Keiichi today, at least. Now that the heads of all the three families were gone, it's possible the curse system had been destroyed entirely. If that was the case, then Keiichi might not be attacked at all. If there's somebody who did not want to attack him, that meant part of the system was still alive. Or who did want to attack him. In other words, the mission wouldn't be accomplished just yet. Keiichi's like a litmus test in this situation. I know whether or not all my enemies were gone, depending on if Keiichi got bitten. He sure is a very useful man. After that, I went along with what Keiichi said. I made sure he was fearful of Mion, as well as of all the three families. I explained to him the possibility that the whole village was involved, and that the curse of Oyashiro-sama might be some sort of system. And I remembered Shion wouldn't know too much about the disappearance of the mayor, so I continued.
私もついさっき聞いたんですが、君吉のおじいちゃんが行方不明になったって、本当ですか？
村長さんのことか。なんだ、シオン。聞いてないのか？
何も知らないです。お父さんが電話でそう話してるのをまた盗み聞いただけですから。
Okay. But I feel like I remember during in chapter 2, I thought I remembered Mion showing them, like Rena and Keiichi, the tattoo. I feel like there was a scene like that. In which case, that wouldn't have been Shion. Or, I guess in this case, Mion. Giving the spiel. Rena stopped her before. Okay. I see.
ああ、実はな、ゆうべ会合の後、家に帰ってこないとかで、ひなみ沢中で大騒ぎになったんだ。村中で探したみたいだけど、まだ見つかったって話は聞かないな。警察も探してるはずなんだけど。
なんでそんな大事な話を先に。
悪い。もう知ってると思ってたんだよ。隠す気なんかなかった。
ケイちゃん、私、どうしよ
う。どうした？話せよ。俺たちの間で隠し事はなしだろ。
ごめん。隠すつもりはなかったんです。ちょっと言うのが前後したっていうか。
俺たちは仲間だろ。怒ったりしないから、正直に話せよ。
私、君吉のおじいちゃんに、打ち明けたんです。
君吉のじいさんってのは、シオンにとって相談できる心安い人なんだろう。
はい、私のこと、小さい頃から本当に可愛がってくれて。私、いつも意地悪なことをしてたのに、私の言うことは何でも聞いてくれて、本当に優しい人だったのに。
落ち着けよ、シオン。別に死んでしまったわけじゃないだろう。そんな簡単に諦めるなよ。
Keiichi tried to make me feel better, but he had no idea what was actually going on. It really made me
村長
laugh.
さんに、私、あの晩、西宮殿に忍び込んだこと。誰かにそれを見られてて、私たちを狙っている人がいるって。
村長さんは、高野さんたちがまともじゃない死に方をしたのを知ってるのか？
はい、知っていました。
I still have no clue, right? Like, there was that one voice, we heard that one time when, like, during all this in chapter 2, when the girl was like, oh, this is Kimiyoshi. You know? We have no clue who that voice was. That's the first time we ever heard it, and that's the only time we ever heard it.
あの二人が、お社様のたたりで死んだから、私はその怒りを鎮める生贄にされるんじゃないかって、本当に率直に言いました。
ああ、それで。
君吉のおじいちゃん、怒らなかった。そして、にっこり笑って、しおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら、鬼隠しになんかなるものかって。本当に、笑いながら、任せなさいって。
I actually got a little sad while saying that. Uncle Kimiyoshi had been so reliable. I was happy when he said he would protect Shion. I was truly happy. But is Kimiyoshi dead right now? Because she didn't kill him yet, right? She just like left him hanging, but they never said if he died. Only he hadn't said anything to insult Satoshi-kun.
私のせいです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。
よせよ、シオン。シオンのせいじゃないよ。
いいえ、私のせいなんです。私が打ち明けてしまったから。君吉のおじいちゃんが知ってしまったから。だから殺されてしまったに違いないんです。だって打ち明けてすぐなんですよ。打ち明けて大丈夫って言ってくれたその晩に消えてしまった。
It was such a strange feeling. I wasn't upset at all, but as I pretended to be upset and mutter words of prayer for Kimiyoshi's safety, I started to feel that emotion growing inside me. I was only pretending to be distressed to fool Keiichi, yet the emotion I feigned began welling up inside of me. I felt like I was being consumed by that emotion. So the words coming from my mouth weren't words I intentionally said. They were words that consuming emotion forced me to say. It was like someone else inside of me was doing the talking instead. I was just watching that someone talk from the short distance away.
これは全部私たち4人のトガだったはず。
Oh, and that's why Rika said, Oh, that's why she did what she did. Because she was like, leave it to me, Keiichi. And Rika was trying to kill Shion because of that. Oh, okay.
他人に話してはいけないことだったんです。話したから殺されてしまった。知ったから殺されてしまった。
Yeah, she tried, okay.
打ち明けたから殺されてしまった。
おい待てよ。そんな奴なら打ち明けた村長を殺す前にお前から先に殺すに決まってるじゃないか。順番が違うよ。殺されるなら俺かシオンが先。他の奴らが先に死んだりするものか。
順番はあります。私たちを一番最後に殺すつもりに違いないんです。
なんだって。
人思いに殺さないで親しい人たちから順々に殺していって散々悲しい思いをさせた後に殺す、そういう狙いに違いないんです。
What I just said scared even me. Killing our loved ones first to harm us emotionally, and then kill us at the height of our suffering. Whoa, I felt something crawling up my spine. That's awesome! That's an awesome idea! I must not be human anymore, I really am a demon! A human could never think of such cruel things. That would be one incredible hell. Your close friends dying one at a time after being tortured, and after all that you get yourself killed. What a great way to destroy someone's life. I was getting so excited about this, because I could get going with that plan right away.
リカちゃん、リカちゃんだ。
え、今なんて言ったんですか？
俺も実は打ち明けたんだ。リカちゃんに今日。
リカちゃんってリカちゃまのことですか？フルデ神社のリカちゃま？
そうだよ、リカちゃんだよ。俺もどうしようもなく不安で打ち明けたんだ、リカちゃんに。
そうしたらリカちゃまはなんて？
猫さんの心配しすぎなので僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。でリカちゃんはそう言って。ごめんシオン、俺ちょっとリカちゃんのことが心配になっちゃって。
あ、はい、そんなに心配でしたらぜひ電話を、安否を確認してみてください。
ああ、そうさせてもらう。
また明日もこのくらいの時間に連絡します。それをもって私の安否確認としてください。
わかった。待ってる。じゃあな、すまん。切るぞ。
I mean, it's still kind of true. She did technically die because he confessed to her about entering the storehouse. That is technically true. Keiichi hung up roughly. What a hilarious conversation with Keiichi. Everything was just too damn funny. Keiichi Maebara, go ahead and struggle helplessly. Run all over the village and see if the curse is still alive. Go ahead and see if my enemies are still around. I laughed for a while and then calmed down. Yeah, no, she definitely chose to do something. It's obviously not his fault directly. But if he didn't say anything to her, she would never have gone up and tried to kill. Yeah. I already got rid of the bicycles and shoes belonging to Rika and Satoko. My house was, for the moment, taken care of. I could expect Keiichi to run around in a panic, to ask for help from someone, then ultimately come to Mion. More likely the youth group would end up looking for Rika like they did with the mayor. I'd probably have to endure another long night again knowing nobody would find her. I decided to wait until the phone rang. I killed time by watching TV until it did.
Keiちゃん、本気で言ってんの？もし冗談だったらかなり怒るよ。
I scolded Keiichi for suspecting that Rika had disappeared.
みーちゃん、本当に冗談だったなら怒るんじゃなく笑おうよ。だって冗談なんだから。私たちはそれが冗談であることを確かめなくちゃいけない。
そうだね。
Okay, but I don't get it. I'm trying to think. Oh, so, okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened during Mion's freak out. That one time. When she was holding the ladder for Keiichi. And I'm pretty sure it was just all about Satoko.
機嫌の悪そうなことを言ってごめん。
But we still don't know what happened to Satoko. We can assume she's dead at this point. Right? That's what we are assuming, or they want us to assume. But we don't know how she died. We don't know if she was tortured to death or if she just killed. Like, we don't know what happened. They purposely skipped that out. But Anna rebuked me. While she looked quiet, I felt like she could be very terrifying under her skin. I had no basis for that impression, but I still felt that way. I just didn't like her. I disliked her ever since that rainy day at the bus stop. It wasn't that we didn't get along, though. How should I put this? I was at a loss for how to explain. Ah, that was it. I found a good example. When I was little, I always wanted to play tennis. I had my relatives take me to a tennis court, and they all praised my skill. I was doing nothing more than hitting a ball with a racket, but they told me I was talented, and that made me happy. When I went to school, I told my classmates I played tennis. They told me that I was talented too. Then, one of my classmates who was usually very quiet said she also played tennis. Not only did she play, but she took lessons. Although I bragged about my serve, I was no match for her. I felt lonely and insulted that everyone was paying attention to her, and not me. She was usually very quiet, but suddenly I realized that she knew more and had a lot of more experience than me. Rena at the bus stop was like that. I thought of myself as a demon now. I'd awakened a part of me that was half human and half demon, that part that lived in Onigafuchi village. In fact, I'd already stepped into a world where normal humans couldn't go. I'd already surpassed my human limits. I genuinely thought of myself as a superior being, having transcended the realm of mortals. But when my eyes met with Rena Ryugu's, I felt like what I did long ago with tennis. Why? Why did I feel that way with Rena? I heard that in the animal world during battle, animals glare at each other to display their strength. Only humans have to punch or kick each other to feel superiority or inferiority. Most animals can tell just by glaring at each other. In that case, could it be the same with Rena?
みーちゃん、大丈夫？
ああ、ごめん。ほらさ、昨日から寝不足で。
I still don't get it though. Why did the meeting with Keiichi differ with both of them? Why is that different? Like, this all played out the exact same, and they're trying to push the narrative that chapter 2 and chapter 5 are the same, just from a different point of view. Why did Keiichi beat up the guys in the meeting there, whereas in chapter 2, Keiichi was getting picked on and Shion came to his rescue? Why is that different? And until there are differences, why are there differences? Because they don't put differences for no reason. Keiichi climbed up a ladder and tried to peek into the window on the second floor where Rika and Satoko lived. It was my job to hold down the ladder. Rena cautioned me to hold on to it tightly.
みーちゃん、私念のため本宅の方も見てくるね。すぐ戻るから。
ごめん。よろしく。
Rena ran off after that. When I looked up, I saw Keiichi trying to open a window, but all of them were locked.
本宅ってなんだ？
Keiichi asked me from the top of the ladder.
古出家の本当の家だよ。両親が亡くなって以来、ずっと放置してあるそうだけど。
あ、そうか。リカちゃんのご両親って亡くなってるんだよな。
里子も親はいないよ。お社様のたたりってことで、両親が崖から落っこちてね。お兄さんだったサトシ君もいなくなっちゃって。
サトシって前に聞いた名前だな。
You'd heard the name before. I felt anger going inside of me. Don't you know whose desk you're using every day? You act as if it belongs to you. You drop food in it while eating lunch. You drool on it while taking a nap. Don't you know who it really belongs to? I'm acting this way. I'm Mion. Satoshi-kun don't even exist anymore. He was demoned away. It's hardly Keiichi's fault that he didn't know. It really isn't his fault.
サトコはリカちゃんと一緒にこの小屋で暮らしてるんだよ。互いに身寄りのない一人ぼっち同士。助け合ってね。
本宅って言ったか？そっちで暮らした方が楽だろうに。
はじめはそうしてたみたい。でも、両親を思い出すから辛いって言って。
After everyone in Satoko's family died, she started living with Rika. It only made sense. Satoko and Rika were best friends. They didn't care about the Hojo family or the Furude family. They'd been best friends since before the damn conflict. Only at this point, or only when the Watanagashi happened, was it the exact same? Or even during the Watanagashi, there were some differences. Like, I think the main thing for me is that there was something that Shion saw in the cage up above that we did not even touch on in chapter 5 here. Like, we just heard the stomping. Mion didn't look up and see something. And then after the Watanagashi, that's when I think the things have been, like, the exact same. Or at least to me, the conversations have been the exact same. The interactions have been the exact same. From here on out, it was the exact same. But before that point, it was different. There were some differences. They've been best friends since before the dam conflict. The reason why the curse never fell upon Satoko, Rika Furude probably had a lot to do with it. That made more sense than anything else, at least. Satoko was pardoned from the curse of the Hojo family. All thanks to Rika Furude's arrangements. Satoko had never been a victim on the night of the Watanagashi. According to the curse system I'd uncovered, the last survivor of the Hojo family, still living in Hinamizawa, would be the perfect target for this year's curse. Therefore, whoever was responsible for executing the curse must have tried to take her life. However, nothing happened to her, proving that Satoko had escaped from the curse. That was really and truly infuriating. She might have been the head of the Furude family, but I still can accept that such a little girl had enough power to protect her best friend. No, actually, Shion. Shion must have had the same power then. Just like Rika protected Satoko, Shion could have protected Satoshi. Damn it.
リカちゃんも、サトコも、大変なんだな。
And that's what sets her
呪
off.
われてるんだよ。
ミオン、お前今、なんて言った？
呪われてるって言ったの。
ミオン、お前、なんて顔してんだよ。
北条里子はね、お社様のたたりを一身に受けた呪われた子なの。
I can't accept that Satoko was pardoned from the curse, although she was a member of the cursed Hojo family. She was one of the cursed Hojos. Satoshi-kun wasn't pardoned, but Satoko was. She was cursed, but she got away. She escaped the curse, but then Satoshi-kun didn't. I can't accept that. In fact, Satoko should have been the one to be cursed the most. I still don't know this eye thing. Anytime you see the red hair, I think that's when the eyes go, like, crazy. Because that's what was happening with Keiichi during chapter 3. And that's when people were commenting on it. In fact, Satoko should have been the one to be cursed the most. She cornered Satoshi-kun physically and emotionally. That was why things got weirder and weirder. And in the end, everything went crazy. When I think back on it, Satoko was who I hated most of all. She cornered Satoshi-kun. What is this? And as a result, Satoshi-kun disappeared. She started it. She caused it. If only she hadn't been there. Just as Rika Furude and Satoko had lived happily, maybe there had been a happy future for me too. Maybe Satoshi-kun and I could have started our lives together in Okinomiya. Yes, if I took a look at both the beginning and the end, it's so obvious. Satoko's existence caused everything. Satoshi-kun had to kill his aunt because of Satoko. The three families used that need to create the curse, and then they killed him. The police were convinced he just ran away, but he'd never do that. He was the type of person who always did his best at everything. All by himself. He was doing the very best he could do for his only sister, yet he was forced to vanish. He worked so hard for Satoko, and even though he was living just for her, he was erased. Poor Satoshi-kun. He was so underappreciated. That girl knew no gratitude. She was cursed. You got near her, you'd meet the same fate. You'd be cursed to die. Or disappear. That really was it, so she was the main culprit behind it all. She wormed her way into Rika Furude's good graces, and that was why the curse fell upon Satoshi-kun. She could have died first, and Satoshi-kun would still be alive. If he was alive, I could have done something for him. I can't forgive her. I can't forgive Satoko. I can't forgive that girl. There can be no peace with her. There can be no peace. She was the perfect target for the curse of 1983. The curse of Oyashiro-sama. Rika Furude, the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. Rika was dead. The reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama had died. There was no more god in Hinamizawa to deliver the curse. I'm the one who has to deliver it now. I am Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, one of the three families of Onigafuchi. Now that all the heads of the three families are gone, there's nobody to suppress me. I will deliver the curse of Oyashiro-sama and no one else. I'll deliver it. I am the curse. I have become Oyashiro-sama! I felt hot bubbles boiling over deep inside of me. I could tell the demon inside of me wanted to roar. I noticed Keiichi was looking down at me. Calm down, Mion. You can't tell what you're thinking. Calm down. Calm down. At that point, I heard footsteps coming closer. I saw 4 or 5 adults, accompanied by Rena, running towards us with flashlights in their hands. One of them opened the lock of the cabin door, and we all went inside. Of course, there was nobody there. Satoko and Dika lived alone. I doubted Satoko would have left a note saying she was going over to the Sonozaki house when Dika was there already. But it wouldn't be fun if she had, because I had hurried into the room ahead of Rena to make sure there was nothing left behind. The rumor of Rika and Satoko's disappearance spread around the village quickly. More and more villagers gathered at the Furude shrine. Acting in place of the head of the Sonozaki family, I commanded them to search the village. The villagers nodded and scattered. How long had it been since the last time I was truly Mion? I felt so pleased that my body almost went numb. Lots of villagers went in and out of the shrine. They yelled at each other that she was nowhere to be found. Some suggested other places to look, and they all left. They made a lot of noise with their comings and goings. Members of the Women's Association brought out huge pots and gas cookers from the storage and got ready to cook for the men. That was when I noticed Keiichi unsteadily walking towards a copse of dark pine trees. What was he thinking? How stupid of him to be alone on a night like this. If the person responsible for executing the curse was nearby, he wouldn't come back safely.
ミオンちゃん、お茶が池の方もぐるっと探したけど、全然ダメだね。池の中も照らしたけど、明るくなんないとわかんないよ。
うん、ありがとうございます。婦人部の皆さんがお味噌汁を作ってくれてますので、召し上がって休んでください。
ミオンちゃん、あの二人って自転車どこに止めてたんか知ってるかい？
さあ、多分、境内の階段の下じゃないかな。まさかあの階段を担いで上がったりはしないでしょう。
ないんだよね。二人の自転車がさ、どこかに行っちゃったんだろうかね。
自転車で遊びに行ったんだな。
I just don't understand
そうかもしれんな。
how Shion was able to, to do all of this, right? Because I guess no, because they rode their bikes to Mion's house, right? Or to the Sonozaki household. So it was probably easy to dispose of the bikes there, which that makes sense actually.
マジか。
だとすると、ひなみ沢の中にはいないんかもしれんな。そういえば、リカちゃまがいなくなったってのは誰が最初に気づいたんだ？
ん？ああ、ケイちゃんだけど、急に虫が知らせたんだとか。
前原屋敷のせがれさんか。なんや、怪しいな。
そういえば、前原家は来てないのか、この一大事の時に。
前原家は懲戒未加入だから、青年団の連絡網に入ってないんよ。
なあ、すったらんしょうがな。俺、入ったろ、懲戒。あれさね、連絡網に名前が載ってないだけんと違う？連絡網新年に作ったきりやんね。途中から越してきたから載ってない。
前原のせがれさんの虫の知らせってのがどうもな。
第一発見者が一等怪しい言うやんね。そのせがれはどこ行ったんかいね。
さっき、松林の方にふらふら行くのを見たよ。誰か呼んでくる？
Conveniently, I saw Keiichi and Rena walking back
ケ
to
イ
us.
ちゃん、どこ行ってたんだよ。ケイちゃんまでいなくなったのかと心配したよ。
すまん。
It looked like nothing had happened to Keiichi. If so, that's fine. That means I took care of all my enemies.
おやおやおや。
Where did he come from? I thought they didn't call him until the next day.
美味しい匂いが漂ってくると
Oh no,
思っ
but I do
たら。
remember him appearing, but why was he here?
これはぜひご評判に預かりたいですね。
I heard the loud, sticky voice of a middle-aged man. It was Oishi. He must be confused about this year's incident. The scale of the curse this time is nothing like the previous ones. Oishi's information network is about equal or better than that of the elders on the town council. In other words, he could easily uncover a rumor that was circulating through the underside of the village. He must have came here to see if the disappearances of the Kimiyoshi and Rika had something to do with the changing of the lock on the ritual storehouse door. The police will come for me sooner or later. And it will be sooner. I am Mion Sonozaki. By removing all the heads of the 3 families, my enemies, I've become the head in their place. I can't allow Mion Sonozaki to continue existing. I'll have to destroy the existence of the head of the Sonozaki family. When I destroy my own position, that is when revenge will come to an end. More than likely, I'll have Oishi witness my final moments. My eyes on Oishi's met. Damn it, he thinks I'm suspicious already. You're right, Oishi. I did it. Mion Sonozaki, the head of the Sonozaki family, is the culprit. And that is the end of that chapter. Or that, yeah. That segment. And next is where... Yeah, where Mion... dies, I guess. Rika Furude. She was the head of the Furude family, but she never even appeared at the most important meetings. Even if she did show up, nobody would ask for her opinion, so it never really mattered if she was there or not. A legend in the Furude family says that if their firstborn child is a girl for 8 generations in a row, that the Earth girl would be the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. According to Takano-san's research, Rika Furude is very likely to be the one. Surely she must be an important icon in the cult of Oyashiro-sama. The true believers are devoted to her. So it's quite surprising to me that Rika Furude herself was the assassin. Dude, okay, whatever. It's unbelievable. It's just too abnormal. Usually a VIP like her wouldn't be the one to assassinate someone. It's possible that it was a Rika Furude look-alike. From the way she moved, she seemed experienced in fighting. It's not normal that a small girl like her would jump me without faltering. I just got lucky because I had a stun gun. Without it, I don't know what would have happened. She was far more skilled than she looked. Was she trained as an assassin? Or was it a body double? Everything is a mystery, including that creepy syringe. What's going on? I can't understand. She was like an apparition or something. Did Orio Sonozaki know of her existence? What is hiding on the underside of this village? That underside might run much deeper than I thought. At this point, I believe I can complete my revenge by destroying the curse system entirely. I'll finish tomorrow, really? Okay. That means I have to eliminate all the heads of the 3 families. Successor Shion, and the assassins who are after Keiichi. Although Keiichi is completely unguarded, he hasn't been attacked so far. Even though I told everybody that he was one of the trespassers. In fact, it's me who's been attacked. Rika Furude attacked me. According to my theory, Keiichi should make for very attractive bait. Nobody has done anything to harm him. Since Rika Furude attacked me, it might be that opposing the Furude family is a greater taboo than trespassing in the ritual storehouse. Rika Furude had said the intrusion wasn't a big deal. She sounded like she was going to let Keiichi walk. After I accused her of that, Rika Furude attacked me that very night. Were there 2 different factions? Does one handle trespassers in the ritual storehouse while the other protects the religious doctrines of the Furude family? No, that doesn't make sense. Tomitake-san's death must have been caused by the Furude's family's injections. Rika showed me the effect herself, clawing her own throat and dying like that. But Tomitake-san shouldn't have been subject to the curse, at least according to the system of the Furude family. I don't understand why Keiichi hasn't been attacked. He has something exempting him from the curse, unlike Takano-san? Just how only Satoko Hojo was spared. Keiichi's a friend of Rika Furude's, so does that mean if you were close to her, you wouldn't be cursed? Was she more important than the whole system? That's impossible. The hag was at the top of the curse system. Rika couldn't have been higher up than her. Scribble, scribble. There are multiple ways to determine the subject of the curse. Are there as many curse execution groups as there are subjects? Do they all work separately? It's a mess. None of my theories add up. If I mess up my reasoning, I might make the wrong person the target of my revenge. I don't understand who the enemy is or how Satoshi-kun was made to disappear. How much did the hag know? That really was a huge loss. I have so many things I wanted to ask her. I killed her by accident. Shit. In that respect, I've already failed in my revenge. The underside of Hinamizawa really does run deep. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Yeah, she's gone... I mean, we've said this multiple times, but she's completely lost it! She has gone mad with her revenge. How are your save files going in Umineko? I guess you haven't read it in a while, now that I think about it, so it wouldn't tell. Because I remember you saying that you didn't have enough save files in Umineko. But yeah, I think that'll be it from me then for today. Yeah, I mean, this is what we expected to happen. I don't know why we didn't see Satoko's death, though. I wonder if Satsuko really did die, or what happened from there. We would assume that she died, because in chapter 2 it says she found her body, but there's some things that are just not, like, it's not one-to-one. Chapter 2 and chapter 5, and I'm, like, right now it's one-to-one, but some things just, I don't know why they aren't adding up. I don't know why, so I'm led to believe this is the viewpoint from chapter 2, but is it really? Or is it another timeline, like all the other ones? Or I don't even know if it's a different timeline, it's a different continuity. Like, I don't really know. But yeah, that'll be it from me then for today. Thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Higurashi When They Cry tomorrow. Goodbye!